We are live, and this is episode 20 of Colo Tolo, and where we speak the first half in Argentine Spanish and the second half in American English. So here's my brother, friend, and partner in crime, Mr. Guillermo William Kelleher. William.
Hola.
¿Me ves? ¿Me escuchás?
Sí, te veo, te escucho. Te ves genial, como siempre. ¿Cómo andamos?
Acá estamos. ¿Y vos cómo estás?
Yo bien, todo tranquilo. Sobreviviendo. Pero sí, no, todo bien acá. Bueno, no sé si tengo algo de nuevo para contarte, o algo que contarte, pero sí, me alegro verte de nuevo. Ya pasó mucho tiempo.
¿Cuáles son las novedades? ¿Te vas a casar? ¿Vas a ser papá? ¿Cuáles son las últimas novedades?
Me faltan 2 semanas. No, bueno, acá yo no tengo nada nuevo, pero bueno, en las noticias en Argentina me parece que hay un montón de cosas. No sé si leíste sobre los incendios en Corrientes en Argentina, pero hay, bueno, porque es algo que tiene que ver con el tema ambiental, es algo que a mí me interesa mucho. Pero hay incendios en Corrientes y si me acuerdo, la noticia dijo que como un 9% o por ciento de la provincia, no sé cómo se dice, como quedó arrasada por las llamas, digamos. Y bueno, no es una buena noticia, pero para que sepas.
No, está bien, qué lástima. Bueno, que Dios bendiga a toda esa gente y que bueno, que salgan adelante.
¿Y qué más? También leí algo sobre Kun Agüero y Scaloni, y
Sí.
que Kun va...
El
si,
mundial.
si entendí bien, es que Scaloni lo invitó a Kun Agüero para ir con el equipo a la Copa Mundial para ser como un hincha, digamos, o sea, para estar con los jugadores y ser como, no sé, buena onda, como siempre.
Cebador de mates. Cebador de
El
mate.
servidor de mate, así es. Así que como eso me alegra mucho porque aunque él no pueda jugar, como el hecho de que él puede ser junto con sus amigos y compañeros como Messi, me parece que eh, es, es como muy importante.
Sí.
Y bueno, eso es. Cada día trato de leer algo o escuchar noticias sobre Argentina, no solo porque me ayuda con el idioma, obviamente, pero a mí me interesa mucho lo que está pasando en la Argentina. Pero bueno, eso es todo, todo lo nuevo. Y, ¿Y qué más? Oh, otra cosa. ¿Viste el video de Dustin fue no sé, Instagram Live o en vivo quizás, con una chica de Venezuela que hace que puede imitar como el acento de como 9 países hispanohablantes como Argentina, México, Chile, España, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Es, es increíble. Ella la rompe totalmente y es como, Dustin me dijo que ella tiene toda la onda, se llama Mari y no me acuerdo de cuál es su apellido, pero tenés que ver el video. Es como una conversación con Dustin y ella y hablando sobre acentos pero es una genia total. Es como mi héroe porque, bueno, me cuesta hacer un acento en español y no puedo imaginar hablando con 9 acentos. Eh, pero también es como la diferencia entre un acento puertorriqueño y porteño y castellano. Es como, no lo puedo creer que es el mismo idioma, pero es, es lo mismo en inglés. Así que, eh, nada, eso es todo, pero otra cosa que tenés que ver porque es
Sí,
genial.
lo voy a ver, lo voy a ver. Yo tengo una recomendación, hay un canal ah, que soy un fan de un muchacho que se llama, ya te digo, Iván, um, Iván. Iván Bustillo. Y es un youtuber um, que tiene 1.35 million subscribers. Y él es de El Salvador.
Ah, ok.
Y no sé si no te mandé un video o no, pero te tengo que mandar porque me mandó una compañera de la clase, Lorena, que ella es de El Salvador y este chico tiene 27 años y la verdad que te súper recontra re cagás de risa. Es, es una onda Dustin, una onda
Ah,
de
ok.
lo que Dustin hace kids. Por ejemplo, las 100 reacciones que uno tiene con un bebé, ¿no? Cuando ve un bebé
Claro.
extraño, ¿no? Y hace todas las reacciones, ¿no? Está, la verdad que excelente, excelente. Y bueno, me inspira a mí, a mí me gustaría hacer algo parecido algún día, ¿no? Hacer algo más fun, you know? So,
Claro, claro. Eh, sí. Y también no conozco mucho sobre El Salvador, así que es como uno de los países hispanohablantes que nunca, o sea, nunca conocí a nadie que sea de El Salvador, creo. Eh, Así que para mí no puedo reconocer el acento, o sea, em, no, no me suena como es el acento. ¿Cuál sería el adjetivo, el acento, el,
salvadoreño.
salvadoreño, el acento, el
El acento
salvadoreño?
salvadoreño.
Wow, un trabalengua. Em, bueno, em, estoy seguro que ya te pregunté esta pregunta, pero si estás hablando con alguien, yo sé que no hay mucha gente en donde vos vivís, pero que habla español, pero em, si estás hablando con alguien, em, podés identificar o reconocer de dónde viene esa persona solo por su voz, como, obviamente él es de Guatemala o de Honduras o lo que sea,
En
porque para
español? ¿En español
sí,
decís?
en español, sí, perdón.
Mira, la verdad que puedo determinar muy fácilmente algunos acentos. Por ejemplo, el acento mexicano es súper distintivo comparado con el acento argentino, son muy distintivos, pero hay muchos países del norte, de Sudamérica y de Centroamérica que no conozco, como decíamos recién, El Salvador, Honduras, y que otros países el acento cubano lo conozco bastante bien porque uno de mis mejores amigos es cubano, que hace ya 10 años que no veo porque vive en Málaga ahora, pero si hay acentos que los confundo porque no sé si son o de El Salvador o de Honduras o de toda la zona de Centroamérica.
Claro,
Ahora, creciendo en Argentina, sí, obviamente el acento uruguayo es exactamente el mismo en la Argentina, así que uno no sabe si está hablando con un uruguayo o un argentino, pero el paraguayo es un acento que reconozco. Y el portugués, obviamente, es otro idioma, así que eso es fácil de ver.
sí,
Pero no, ya te digo, depende de dónde venga. Con inglés, lo mismo, hay algunos acentos que reconozco más que otros, por ejemplo, el acento australiano o el acento escocés. Esos son los dos más distintivos para mí. Pero el- el irlandés a veces lo saco, a veces me confundo, no sé cuál es. Así que sí, depende, nunca me puse a estudiar español. Por ejemplo, el español de España, sí, obviamente, muy distintivo. Because it's like British English, so it's
claro.
very, so it's the original language, el idioma original. Eh, pero sí, bueno, el catalán, no sé si vos sabés, pero el catalán es un idioma completamente distinto. Si vos lo escuché, no sé si escuchaste catalán alguna vez,
Creo que no, pero sí, sabía que es
pero es una mezcla, el
otro
catalán es
idioma.
una mezcla del español con un poquito de francés y un poquito de portugués. Es como una
Wow,
mezcla. Pero cuando vos escuchás hablar en catalán, no. Yo entiendo 40-50% del catalán porque algunas palabras son las mismas y algunas palabras son muy parecidas, ¿no?
bueno,
Pero no, está bueno. Y en Tolosa, en
Tolosa,
España,
claro.
hablan su propio idioma, no hablan español en Tolosa, España, ¿no? Hablan el idioma vasco.
Vasco,
El idioma vasco. Incluso si vos vas a la página de Tolosa, a la página oficial de la ciudad de Tolosa en España, no está en español, está en el idioma vasco, vamos a decir, ¿no?
wow, nunca escuché vasco. Eh,
Sí.
sí, como no solo, por ejemplo, nunca escuché una palabra en vasco, sino no sabía que era un idioma vasco. Vasco. En España también, wow. Mira vos. Eh, Interesante, porque eso, la razón por la cual te pregunté eso es que, bueno, para mí es una meta para mejorar mi conocimiento de acentos en español. Obviamente, eh, reconozco el acento argentino, eh, pero por ejemplo, estoy tan acostumbrado con hablando con un argentino o una argentina que, por ejemplo, si hablo o si conozco a eh, alguien de, por ejemplo, de Cuba o de Puerto Rico, me cuesta un poco para entender eh, el acento porque, claro, no tengo la misma cantidad de práctica, digamos, con ese acento. Y eso me molesta porque, no el acento, que yo, un hombre que lleva años y años estudiando español, que habla bastante bien, más o menos, depende en el día, pero eso espero que hablo bien. Eh, no puede tener una conversación a veces, o sea, tengo que pedir repetición o algo como, ¿podés repetirlo? No, no entendí yo.
Claro.
Y eso para mí es como, es, es una lástima. Pero bueno, es una parte del proceso, digamos.
Sí, lo que pasa que yo te recomiendo que sí, yo te recomiendo por una cuestión personal también de mi experiencia personal. Es bueno enfocarse en un solo acento porque si no es como que uno rega, ¿no? You're putting water in too many pots and then none of them grow strong, you know?
Claro,
Um, pero bueno, no, está bueno aprender los otros acentos también. Lo que pasa es que está bueno, you want to master one and then branch out, because otherwise you're just, anyway, you should do whatever you want. I'm just saying that to me, I think it's easier to master one and keep learning about the other ones. But uh, if you learn too many different kinds of Spanish, then después se te vas a confundir muchas veces, vas a mezclar qué decir, cuándo decir, cómo decirlo. Pero bueno, no
claro,
sé.
claro, claro. Sí, estoy de acuerdo completamente. Lo que quiero hacer es, más que nada, es poder reconocer como, eso es un acento colombiano, o lo que sea, porque en el video de Dustin y Maddie, si ella no habría dicho, ok, eso es el acento venezolano, yo nunca sabría que eso es como se habla en ese país. Es como, obviamente escucho las diferencias con el tono y el ritmo, pero no puedo elegir como, ok, eso es de México. O algunos sí, como dijiste, México, España, Argentina, quizás Colombia, pero no estoy completamente seguro. Eh, pero el resto, eh, sí, no tengo ninguna idea. Por la general, por lo general. Y bueno, es algo, obviamente voy a enfocarme en el aprendizaje de español argentino, porque es el mejor tipo de español. Pero sí, no, más que nada solo quiero tener la habilidad de eh, sí, reconocer un acento. Y
Sí,
para mí, obviamente, en inglés eh, es muy fácil para mí. El único país a veces es Canadá, porque está tan cerca de Estados Unidos y, por ejemplo, como en New Hampshire o Vermont, em, donde hay más gente de Canadá, em, a veces no puedo em, reconocer si es alguien de Canadá o Estados Unidos, pero además de eso, sí, es algo, em,
sí,
algo fácil.
aparte también tenés que, como sabés, en Argentina tenés el acento cordobés, el acento
Claro,
jujeño,
claro, eso es como
acento de...
cada provincia y si no me equivoco, hay como 30 30 provincias o algo así, así que hay un montón de acentos diferentes.
Creo que son
Eh,
24 creo que son. Ah,
ok.
el acento tucumano, el acento de Misiones, o sea que hay, vamos a decir, dentro de cada país también hay variaciones, como en Estados Unidos, ¿no? El
Oh,
inglés de...
sí, no, tenés razón, pero justo lo que necesitaba, más acentos para aprender. Eh,
Pero bueno,
pero bueno,
si te gustan los acentos, podés invertir en aprender el acento porteño, el acento cordobés, el acento tucumano, ¿no? Esos son dentro de lo que es Argentina, vamos a decir, ¿no? Eh, pero bueno, lo que es el argentino, como se dice en Hollywood, English, o movie English, es el acento de Buenos Aires, es lo que se conoce, no sé si en general, como el inglés estadounidense es más el inglés de California que el inglés del sur de Estados Unidos, ¿no? Eso es más el...
Claro, sí, tenés razón. Sí, sí,
Sí.
sí. Em, y no sé si te conté, pero el otro día estaba hablando con un amigo mío en Mendoza, y él era mi, no sé cómo decirlo, como el no el jefe, sino como el director del programa de intercambio en la con el programa em, sí, que elegía estudiar en Mendoza. Em, pero bueno, es súper buena onda. Para mí él es, em, sí, es un gran amigo. Em, pero bueno, no hemos hablado por casi un año. em, y bueno, estábamos haciendo un videollamada, y después de tipo 30 segundos él me preguntó como, ah, ¿vos estás practicando tu acento? Porque se renota un acento más porteño. Como, sí, bueno, hablo con Ben, y él es de Buenos Aires, hablo con Dustin, y él vive o vivió en Buenos Aires, Rubén también. Eh, bueno, la mayoría, o casi cada persona con quien hablo, eh, vive o ha vivido en Buenos Aires, así que como, él tiene razón, supongo que ahora hablo con un acento más porteño. Y le pregunté a él como, bueno, pero si cuando vuelva a Mendoza pensás que la gente me va a atacar, como, ¿por qué hablas así? No hablamos como mis amigos, no la gente cualquiera, pero como mis amigos que me conocen, como, no hablabas así hace 3 años. ¿Por qué no hablas como un mendocino? Y como, no sé, como, eso es lo que aprendí. Pero como un chiste nada más, porque como dijiste, para mí sería mejor tener un acento, em, que un acento,
Sí,
no sé si
más
eso
no.
tiene sentido, un acento cualquiera en español, en vez de un acento súper super yankee. Em,
Claro, claro, claro.
y, y no creo que yo tuviera un acento muy yankee cuando estuve en Mendoza, sino un- hablaba con un acento más neutral, y
Claro.
usé palabras de España o de México, así que em, sí, para mí el acento y la pronunciación em, siempre eran súper importantes, pero paso a paso, ahora, como vos sabés, y obviamente me ayudás un montón con mi pronunciación y vocabulario y todo eso. Sí, hablo un poco más como un porteño. Pero para mí eso fue como un cumplido, ponele, porque
Sí, eso sí.
es como, si la gente se nota como, eso es un acento más distinto. Eso para mí es como, ok, bueno, sigo haciendo lo que,
Sí, lleva muchos años, pero bueno, vas progresando y vas mejorando, así que eso es lo importante. Sí, de todos modos, si yo te tengo que dar un consejo en general a cualquier persona que está aprendiendo otro idioma, yo le aconsejaría que aprenda la versión de ese idioma que es más popular en ese idioma que está aprendiendo. Por ejemplo, si vos aprendes a español argentino, yo no te recomendaría que aprendas con el acento cordobés. O vamos a decir, sí podés. Es completely up to you. Vos elegís, pero vamos a decir, yo te aconsejaría a cualquier persona, no, aprende el acento porteño porque es como decirte en inglés estadounidense, aprende el inglés de California y no el de South, really, the accent with the South and the way they speak in the South of the United States. You can, I'm just saying, if, I think it will be more flexible if you learn el acento más de neutral americano, vamos a decir, ¿no? Pero bueno, eso
Claro,
en cualquier idioma, ¿no? En español, en España de España, en México de México, en lo que sea francés de París, ¿no? El francés
sí, de París,
de
claro.
Francia,
Eh,
más parecido al
sí, no,
español.
tenés razón. Y una pregunta sobre lo que dije yo. Yo, sobre gramática, así que, perdón, pero soy nerd.
No, no, no,
Soy un nerd. Em,
no, no,
pero
no problem.
yo
Let's go.
dije, no creo que tuviera un acento yankee, pero sería mejor dicho si diría, no creo que haya tenido un acento yankee o otra cosa, no sé. No creo que, o, sí, no creo que, like, en inglés, I didn't think I had a gringo accent. No sé, si no hay una diferencia está bien, pero a veces, porque no creo, para mí es como, ok, es subjuntivo y por eso elegí tuviera, pero eh, no sé si haya tenido, sería mejor.
Sí,
No
no,
sé.
en realidad, las dos, estás diciendo básicamente lo mismo de las dos maneras, así que está bien de las dos maneras, vamos a decir.
Ok, bueno,
No, no creo que hubiese tenido un acento gringo o no creo que haya tenido un acento gringo. Ah, son prácticamente lo mismo. Haya es más, ah, haya es más, like, un poco más inseguro de lo que decís, pero mínimo difference.
pero, ok, pero una cosita más. Dijiste hubiese tenido eh, en vez de
Hubiera,
tuviera.
hubiera. O tuviera,
Oh,
hubiera o tuviera. Hubiera es de haber y tuviera es de tener.
claro, claro. Y también se usa hubiese,
Dice,
em,
hubiera
pero,
son sinónimos.
claro, claro. Pero yo dije, no creo que tuviera un acento, pero también puedo decir, no creo que hubiera tenido un acento yankee.
Sí, en realidad los dos son sinónimos, pero si vos hubiera tenido, es más condicional.
Claro, y ok,
Condicional.
bueno,
No hubiera tenido porque la connotación, vamos a decir, es que hay una situación por la cual vos hubieses o no hubieses tenido ese acento, vamos a decir, ¿no?
sí, sí, sí,
Pero son lo mismo, lo que pasa que hubiera puede suponer una condición.
ok. Y
Puede
la,
suponer
y la última pregunta sobre este tema.
eso, lo
em,
que quieras.
Obviamente yo dije, no creo que tuviera un acento yankee. Y eso es mejor que no creo que tenía un acento yankee, porque hay duda. no creo. Si digo no creo que tenía, eso no suena tan correcto, ¿verdad?
Um, no, en realidad no creo que tenía, es lo que denota es que estás inseguro en tu estatuto. You're unsecure on your statement. ¿Ok? Por eso, no creo, ¿cómo era la frase? No creo que hubiese, no creo, ¿cómo era?
No creo que tuviera un acento yankee o
No
no
creo,
creo que tenía un acento.
no creo que
Solo
tú,
tiene que ver con la conjugación de
sí,
tener.
no creo que tuviera el significado puede cambiar con el énfasis que le pones. Por ejemplo, si vos decís, no creo que tuviera un acento yankee. No creo. It's like you are doubting yourself. But if you say, no, no creo que tuviera un acento yankee. No creo que tuviera un acento. You are more certain. Right? So it's not only what you're saying, it's how you say it. You know, how that's it.
Okay.
What's the emphasis? You can change the
Eh,
meaning. Once you're certain and the other one, you're like uncertain. Do you see what I'm saying?
claro, sí. No, eso es para mí y para cada persona que está aprendiendo español como segundo idioma. Eso es con el subjuntivo y los varios conjugaciones en el pasado, porque no existen en inglés. O sea, los verbos no cambian así como, ok, tuviera, tenía,
Well,
pero hay duda porque no creo, así que tuviera en vez de tenía. Y si pregunto a un nativo como vos, es como, ay, no me acuerdo las reglas, es como cuál suena mejor. Y es exactamente lo que hago yo en inglés, como, ay, no sé cómo qué es el pluscuamperfecto del, no sé de qué estás hablando, pero sí,
yeah, you know,
dime.
it's important. It's important that I think me parece que es importante que también, como en cualquier otro idioma, vamos a decir, lo actes un poco más, ¿no? Para realmente demostrar tu intención. Porque, por ejemplo, I can say, I don't know, or I can say, I don't know. Me, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm certain that I don't know, but if I say, I don't know, you know, it's like, I don't know if I actually know. But if, you know what I'm saying?
Claro, claro, pero en este caso, en inglés, es como las palabras no cambian. Y para mí, a veces, pensando en español, no sé si lo que estoy diciendo sería como, por ejemplo, con el ejemplo que vos justo dijiste, como I don't know, or I don't sure. Y en la segunda es como nadie dice I don't sure, pero es
Right.
como, no sé si tuviera suena como I don't know y tenía como I don't sure, y como, eso es incorrecta, pero quizás aunque cambien los verbos, es como el
Sí,
énfasis y todo
yeah,
eso, es,
sí,
y
sí, pero
para mí eso es lo que me cuesta más, el que
no,
más me
no,
cuesta.
yo te diría como tarea, como homework, te daría que prestes atención al énfasis físico y que vos le pones a las cosas que decís. Por ejemplo, eh, eh, I had a perfect example I was thinking to tell you. Um, like like with my wife, I will say, "Would you like to fight?" So, and it's a question, would you like to fight? I'm ready to fight, but would you like, or I can say, "Would you like to fight?" It's like I am. You know what I mean? It's like you're saying the
Sí,
same thing.
sí.
But it's like I'm just saying for your own sake of you communicating on a clearer way, en una manera más clara, la intención, la intención física de lo que decís puede cambiar completamente el significado, ¿no? Hay una
Sí,
canción. Hay una canción de Alejandro Sanz que te recomiendo porque habla un poco de los idiomas, del idioma español, ¿no? Es una canción que se llama No es lo mismo y, y él en una parte de la canción dice, no es lo mismo decir eh, quédate y ya veremos, que quédate y ya veremos. It's like, una cosa es como, si vos decís quédate y ya veremos, es agresivo, pero si vos a una mujer le decís quédate y ya veremos, es como, estás insinuando que si ella se queda, algo va a pasar, vamos a decir, ¿no?
sí,
Eh,
sí.
por eso es la manera y el énfasis cambia completamente, puede cambiar completamente el sentido, ¿no? En todos los
Sí,
idiomas.
sí, 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 tenés razón. Y obviamente, como vos sabés, soy perfeccionista cuando hablo en español, o sea, sí, odio cuando cometo errores porque sí, mi meta es para hablar como un nativo y para mí es como si estoy hablando perfectamente, pero digo, no creo que tuviera y debería haber dicho, no creo que tenía o algo así, si la gente como, bueno, eso, un nativo no dice eso, como, mala mía, porque eso es como algo pequeño puede notar o sea, no sé, como que alguien no es su idioma nativo, algo así. Y por eso, bueno, estoy nervioso a veces con la gramática y conjugaciones, porque como no sé si algo que digo, como eso no, si digo algo que no tiene ningún sentido, como no entiendo lo que dijo ese Colorado. Pero bueno, obviamente, sí, por ejemplo, nadie habla perfectamente, ni importa si esa persona es de Argentina, Estados Unidos, lo que sea, como yo no hablo inglés perfectamente, así que necesito acordarme, o sea, pensar más en como, no tengo que hablar perfectamente, está bien, pero bueno, para mí, como vos en inglés, como tenemos una pasión para hablar otros idiomas y obviamente quiero hacer todo lo posible para
Sí,
superarme y para poder, no sé,
hasta que
triunfar. Así que,
hasta que no hables como hablo yo, no podés parar. Hasta que no hables español como hablo yo, con el mismo acento, exactamente, no podés parar. Si no, es rendirse.
sí, no, así es.
Same thing for me. Same thing for me. I gotta speak English like you do. Otherwise, I'm quitting. So I'm not gonna quit. I promise.
Bueno, genial. Em, pero bueno, em, solo, mm, bueno, tengo una preguntita más y después podemos cambiar al
Sí.
inglés. Sí.
Tengo 20 preguntas, así que no.
20 preguntas. Em, ok, bueno, mi pregunta es, también puede ser que ya te pregunté sobre este tema, pero em, todavía no estoy seguro si estoy usando em, parecerse o te parece como expresiones así correctamente. Em, por ejemplo, justo estaba mirando un capítulo de una serie argentina, y dos personas estaban hablando, charlando, y uno le dijo a la otra persona como una idea y después como una pregunta, ¿te parece? Y obviamente, sí, uso te parece en este contexto, pero también no entiendo si hay una diferencia entre como te parece y qué pensás o como pensás así o es, es verdad. O como, para mí como te parece tiene como 5 significados, que en inglés cada uno es como una expresión distinta y por eso me cuesta un poco, porque como no sé si puedo usarlo en cada situación o si lo uso incorrectamente. Así que puede ser en inglés o en español. ¿Te parece? ¿Cuál sería la traducción más em,
Ya,
correcto en inglés? ¿Te parece?
me parece, I'll say, ¿te parece? Do you think so?
You think so? Ok. Bueno, escribo eso. Porque, sí, en este caso es como, para mí, como hablante de inglés, yo en este caso suelo usar pensar como, ¿en serio? ¿Pensás, pensás que algo? Y para mí, ¿te parece? Solo uso después de como, hey, Ben, ¿querés podemos hablar a las 6, ¿te parece? Y no sé si suena tan natural, porque como, we can talk at 6, you think? Es como, pero obviamente no es em, la traducción literal, no es el mismo en inglés, así que si es como se habla en español con te parece, está bien, pero no sé si para vos hay una diferencia entre el uso de pensar y parecer, parecerse, o como te parece. Me parece que sí, buena idea. Me parece algo así. Pienso que es una buena idea.
Claro. No, no, está bien. ¿Te parece? Usalo y yo te digo, si en algún momento lo usas de manera incorrecta, te lo van a decir, seguramente. Así que usalo hasta que alguien te diga está mal, pero no. Está bien. No solo te parece, sino, eh, o también se puede decir, ¿qué te parece?
¿Qué te
¿Ok?
parece?
Hey, Ben, che, Ben, hablamos a las 6. ¿Qué te parece? O, che, Ben, hablamos a las 6. ¿Te parece? O sea, it's like, hey, Will, should we talk at 6 p.m.? What do you think?
Ok.
You know?
Y,
O,
y también, por ejemplo, Rubén me envió un mensaje que dijo, ¿cuándo te parece que nos encontremos? Y como, ok, ¿cuándo te parece? Like, when do you think we can meet? Algo así, ok. Bueno, bueno, por eso es otro ejemplo de como nunca pensaría en esa manera para decir esa idea. Para mí sería como cuando, cuando podés hablar, pero obviamente quizás eso suena más yankee, no es tan común que cuando te parece que nos encontramos o que hablemos o lo que sea. Eh, pero bueno, es otro ejemplo de como, obviamente, siempre estoy intentando de agregar más palabras y
Sí,
expresiones. No siempre uso la misma como ¿qué pensás? ¿Qué pensás? Sí, sino como
otra palabra buena que te aconsejo que la uses y la estudies, también la busques un poco, pero yo te la digo, es parecería. Por ejemplo, vos podés
parecería.
decir, parecería que mañana va a llover. ¿Ok?
Okay.
Parecería que mañana va a llover.
Y para mí en inglés eso sería como it would seem to me that tomorrow it's gonna rain.
Right, right. Parecería, ¿no? No solo parece, sino parecería.
Okay.
Ah, pero
Bueno,
bueno, es en otro contexto, ¿no? Se usa
sí,
parecería.
claro, claro. Pero sí, nunca uso porque no puedo decirlo. Parecería.
Claro, por eso te digo que eso es una buena palabra para que la empieces a usar.
Sí, no, gracias. Eso es muy, muy útil. Pero eso es, no tuve un montón de preguntas esta vez, así que si estás, si tenés 20 preguntas, deberíamos empezar ya, hermano. No,
A ver, para que las tengo acá en el, tengo mi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 12. That's not 20.
está bien, no, bueno, como quieras, dale gas, pero primero
El switch.
cambiemos a inglés. Whoa.
I
All
don't.
right. How you doing?
Pretty good. So yeah, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. I have notes. So many of them are not really questions, but like when do you use it? How often you use it?
Yep.
Uh, so the first two things I wanted to ask are about I was thinking to chat with you about give you the idea, and so maybe we can brainstorm together. I think it'll be cool this year, sometime this year, to do something else for the channel. I think we don't have to. I'm just saying I wanted to throw that in to you to see what you think. But I was thinking, obviously we'll keep doing this, but I'm just saying it will be cool to do something like you did the other day, with the Kunaware thing, or like this guy Ivan does, or something that Dustin does, more like maybe do some sort of a skit, or maybe do some sort of an imitation, or maybe something we can both do together, we don't necessarily have to be on the same physical space. We could, if we this summer we say, well, we'll meet up and we'll make some content together, whatever, but we don't necessarily have to do that. I think there are other ways to create more content. So I wanted to throw that in because I think we can, I don't know, I think it will be, I think it could be fun. It could be more fun for the people watching. Um, I still do struggle with editing, because the episodes are typically about 2 hours, hour and a half. So it takes me a really long time to actually go through the whole episode, and then sometimes I need to cut something. I need to add titles. I need to add pictures. So, meaning that um, I'm still struggling with that. So right now I started editing episode 16. Today is episode 20th. So I have this one 16, and with this one will be 4 on the queue for me to edit. And I love it. It's not a problem. It's just the time. It really. So I was thinking sometimes maybe creating something a lot smaller, and I know we have a lot of content. It's just I need to go through the episodes we already made and then cut, how to say this, or, we have so many golden nuggets in those episodes. It's going to take all this other time for me to go over again and looking at what I was just thinking is like maybe we can do something shorter, you know, a way shorter, and that's probably the editing wouldn't take me as long. And you know, like putting that video, the Kun Agüero video, it just took me an hour, you know, to actually cut it and sync it and do this and total. I probably spent an hour editing it and making the thumbnail and this and that. So I was thinking maybe if we create some sort of a content, more content like that, you know, like Super Holy does so many stuff like so much stuff like that. Dustin and this guy Ivan, I'll send you the link. So anyway, just wanted to throw the thought to you and see, you know, whatever. Just think about it. See what you think.
Yeah, I think absolutely. First of all, yeah, I like I said, I feel bad that I don't have any editing knowledge, so I can't help you out with you know, editing the videos. But yeah, I can imagine that 90 minutes or 2 hours is takes a long time to edit. So definitely, whatever, you know, stuff is, you know, if shorter videos are easier to edit, then yeah, we can definitely try some shorter things. You know, I had a lot of fun making the Kun Agüero video. You know,
Yeah.
Again, I kind of wish I was able to do his voice, but I still think the voiceover is pretty fun. And again, it kind of helped me work on gestures and, you know, intonation and all that. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, absolutely. I think we could definitely do shorter stuff.
Yeah, so we'll keep obviously doing this. I'm just saying we can add something in the you know, sometime this year. I was thinking maybe we can, if you wanna, sometime if you don't feel like it, that's fine. We can do something together. But I was thinking writing something, like writing a little, you know, like when Dustin does one of his videos where he uses a wig and then the other one he's not using a wig, and you know, there is a little script that he wrote, you know, to say both lines. So something we could do, you know, I can do, if we do something like that, I can read my lines, then you can read your lines at home, then I can edit it as like if it was a dialogue, you know. So anyway.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny, the like Dustin's videos where he has the wig and not the wig. So with Facundo. So yeah,
Right.
maybe the equivalent, or you'd be Dustin and I'd be Facundo. But
Right.
but yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
I was because that could be something unique, because if you play Facundo or whatever name, you know, you still have an accent, right? And when I play you know, Dustin, I'll still have an accent, you know. So it will be unique in that respect, that, you know, that will be also a funny element to that, you know. Actually, if we want to do it correctly, you should play Dustin and I should play Facundo. But you know, the funny thing is, like, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we can definitely try to do some different things for sure. I kind of want to try to do a second Kun Agüero video where it's actually me talking, but I don't know how close. I mean, it's just such a distinct accent. I don't know how close I could really get again, because I'm not a voice actor or anything like that. But
Yeah, something I can tell you, I can give you a tip, because I did that. I did something very similar for one of our classes, the assignment. In fact, that week I was the only one who submitted, because it was not an easy assignment. So I was the only one who did it, and it was like this bit from a stand-up comedian that Ruben gave us, and we had to imitate the first 30 seconds. That's it. But we have to imitate the accent and speak like the same, with the same American accent that he had. And so what I did is just, I did it phrase by phrase. So I got the first phrase perfect, right? And but I did it like, you know, 10 times or 15 times, whatever. Then I picked a take that was the most perfect to my ear, and then I moved to the next. I didn't do the 30 seconds, you know. It was like 6 different little videos to combine, something like that. So so if you get to do Kun Agüero, try that, try to do one line first and then, but whatever,
Okay.
because it's not easy when you're imitating an accent like the one that Kunawara has, or for me, any American accent. It is a lot more difficult than you think that it is at the beginning. At the beginning,
yeah,
I was thinking,
I know it's very.
this shouldn't be that difficult. That's what I was thinking. Then I started to do it. It's like, man, I just can't do it. I can't do it, and I struggled for like 2 or 3 hours making that video, but I did it. And that's how I did it. I had to focus on one phrase and then another phrase, and then so anyway.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be tough, but again, it just, for all the work I've been putting in on improving my accent and stuff, it was kind of, I don't know, I kind of wanted to see how close I could get, but again, it's for another day. But anyway,
did you have a chance to talk with Dustin or Ruben about our channel, or do you have a chance, or not yet?
Yeah, I did briefly, just because I sent them the video that you made with me and Kunawara next to each other. So they both have seen it. I think they were pretty like. I think they were both like, "How did we not know about this earlier?" I was kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of kept it quiet. So anyway, yeah, I think they're both have seen that video at least. I don't know beyond if they've watched any of the other episodes, but
they were kind of surprised.
Yeah, I'd say so. And they were definitely like, oh, you could tell, Ben's the one that runs the channel, because everything's like, well done and looks professional and stuff, because they know I'm just a water scientist, not a a video editor. So I thought that was pretty funny. They're like, oh, yep, that looks like Ben's doing it, because everything's neat and clean and professional looking. So I thought that was kind of funny, because I would not, if I was the one editing it, it would not look like that.
Yeah. Well,
real quick, I just need to grab my charger. My laptop just said it's getting low on battery. One second.
Sure.
Just edit that part out. People. Okay. Mejor. All right. Let's see if I can help you with some of these questions.
So basically, it's about certain words I heard or expressions, and basically, these are words I don't typically use. And my question for most of them is like, how often do you use them, or should I use them more? Anyway, the first word is tons, or towns, or tons. So the spelling is TAUNTS.
Okay. Yeah. So taunt is how we would pronounce that. So it's a real kind of almost like on, like you're turning a light switch on, taunt. And I wouldn't say well, first of all, I guess the closest thing in Spanish would probably be like burlarse de alguien, like it's sort of to make fun of, or we also say to bust on someone, like to tease. So to taunt, I don't use it a ton, but you might hear it like, quit taunting me, like stop doing that. Or sometimes, like in sports, a player might get a penalty for taunting, if they're kind of making fun of another player or the ref. So it's a good word to know. It's definitely, you'll hear it used. I guess it depends if you instead, like if you taunt other people, which I don't get the sense you do, because like a taunt usually, and this is like general, I would say a taunt is more um like you're trying to be mean, as opposed to like if you're teasing someone, that can be playful, like with a friend. Like if I was really taunting you, it'd be like, you know, hey cagon, like, you know, you're like, you can't do anything, you're not good at it, whatever, haha, you lost. As opposed to like, you know, Ben, like, you know, I saw Real Madrid lost to PSG, like, I know you're a Real Madrid fan, but they lost, haha. Like that's kind of teasing someone. um Whereas taunting would be like loser, loser, you know, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, to taunt.
Okay. All right. So the next word is scolds. So SCOLDS.
Okay, yeah. um yeah, again, so I don't use it a ton, but usually the way you will hear it most often is like a teacher or a parent scolding a child. And it's basically just like if a kid does something wrong, you scold them. Like,
Cagar a pedos.
yeah, okay, yeah, I was trying to think of what the I was gonna say like reitar or something like that, but um yeah, like no hagas eso, nunca hagas eso. Like it's just sort of a you're scolding someone, you're telling them, you know, don't do what you just did. So it's sort of like yelling, but usually scolding is, I think of it as it usually you use it if it's like a teacher or a parent to a kid. Like I don't, and you know, people might disagree, but if you were like talking to your wife, like someone your same age, I don't usually think of that as scolding. Um, Usually to me, scolding is like someone who's older or more in charge talking down to someone. Like your boss could scold you,
Right,
but
right.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, so just like taunt, it's a common word. I wouldn't say that I use it a ton, just because I don't scold people and I don't taunt people, but it doesn't mean that they're not common. So they're both good words to know.
Uh-huh. And so my wife many times tells me, well, you're lecturing me. And I say, no, I'm not lecturing you. I'm just talking to you. So it's so lecturing me, lecture in that context, it's like she's trying to say that I'm t- telling her what to do. Is that what lecture means in that
Yeah.
context?
So a lecture, like traditionally, a lecture is um, like what?
Class.
Yeah, like class. Yeah, una charla, something like that. It's in in that case that we were talking about, like if someone's lecturing you, that's kind of like that they're annoying, or maybe not necessarily annoying, but like always telling you what you could be doing better, or telling you what you should do. And it's just sort of like, you know, like, oh, you're always lecturing me about, you know, like, so if I was like, Ben, you really got to stop smoking, you got to stop drinking, you got to stop doing like all this stuff, you'd be like, oh, like, stop lecturing me. I know, like, I know I need to, whatever. So it's sort of like a, yeah, just that you're sort of like as a teacher is trying to tell their, you know, students what's true or what's right. It's kind of that you're like, you're giving people more information, but they're not always in a place where they want to hear that, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next one is preordained. So
Okay.
preordained.
Um,
Pronouncing that correctly, but it's preordained. And my question is like, how often do you use it? In which context do you use it? And anyway, so
um, I almost never use that word, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it only has to do with religion.
uh,
And not that I'm not religious, I just don't really talk about um, that. I just looked it up. I think it's predestinado is what it tells me it is in Spanish.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so, um, like I always think of it as, um, like a priest or el papa has the power to preordain someone, or to that it's something that's like bound for heaven, is my understanding of it, but I could be wrong about that. But that is not a common word. If you use that at like a party with friends, they're gonna be like, wow, preordained. That's a big word.
But can I use it in a, if, so let's say, could I say, I'm just as, obviously I have no idea, but can I say to a friend, well, I am preordained to be fat all my life. Does that make sense or not at all? It's completely out of context.
Um, I don't think that really makes sense. I can't say I've heard people say that. I would say if you were going to say that I was destined, like that was your destino.
That's
I was
right.
I was destined to be fat, or um, it was predetermined. That was sort of like, God decided that before you were born. But preordained, I think, is pretty advanced for like deep religious conversations. So if you're talking to a priest, then you can use preordained. But I don't think it really makes sense talking to friends or family or anything like that.
So let's say if I'm talking to a priest, can I? I'm sorry. Sorry for asking. It's just
Well,
wanted to understand. So let's say I'm talking with a priest. Can I say and the priest is a priest of my church, and can I tell the priest, look, Father, I am preordained to be fat. Does that make sense because I'm talking with a priest, or not really? Or really not at all?
In that case, yeah, I think it, because preordained, from my understanding, is just something that was, decided previously. But again, I think it's a formal religious word. So like, it'd be more common to say to your friend like destined or predetermined. With your priest, he or she, they would know that, like, what preordained is more than like a average person. So yeah, you could say that if you wanted to.
So in that context is correct.
Yeah,
So
I think you're correctly using the word. I think it's just that, again, it's not something that most people say, when they're hanging out having a mate, so or a cup of coffee. But yeah, if you're talking with someone who's really religious or really knows, has a big vocabulary for religious things, then yeah, preordained. You could say you were preordained to be fat, but I don't think that's true.
okay, thanks.
Una mentira.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So can you explain us, the audience,
Yep.
what brownie points are?
This is a good one. This is a really good one. I kind of am upset at myself that I didn't think of this as something to teach you, but yeah. So brownie points, I don't know like where it comes from specifically, but brownie points is sort of, if you do something that kind of goes above and beyond and sort of makes you have a better connection with someone. So for example, if you're my teacher and you assign homework, and I come up after class and I ask you questions about the homework and I show that I'm interested, and then I say like, I just want to do really well because you're such a good teacher and I love this class. It's kind of like I could score some brownie points because it's like, I'm giving you a compliment. It's sort of like, do you know the expression like a kiss ass, like someone who's
Yeah,
it's
ask.
like it's a lower level of that. Like, so if you score brownie points, it's sort of like, it could be a nice thing. So like, if you went
So
over and shoveled your neighbor's driveway, like you won some brownie points. Like she might, you know, maybe give you a gift card or something. Like it's sort of like it's sort of a good thing. Whereas like if you were a kiss ass and were constantly like, oh, you're the greatest person ever, like like chamuchando, then that's a bit more that's a bit more negative. But brownie points are a good thing. It's just sort of like it's something that you did that like could benefit you in the future. Like you scored some brownie points.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So is there any correlation between being a brown noser and brownie points? Because the brown nose is because you have your nose in somebody's ass, but it's the brown poop.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that was one thing that came to mind. It could be, but again, I usually think of a brown noser as a bit more of like an insult, whereas brownie points is a good thing. I think I've never heard brownie points as a negative thing. It's sort of like a fun, you know, you could say something like, yeah, I'm gonna go give my teacher an apple to score some brownie points or something. And it's sort of like seen as inoffensive, whereas if you were like, you know, I'm gonna go wash my teacher's car and then give her a gift card and then, you know, do all this stuff, you'd be like, all right, you're a kiss ass, you're a brown noser, you know what I mean? Like
but the two different browns are from different contexts. One is chocolate and the other one is poop.
It could be.
It's not a big deal, so don't worry about it. I was just wondering.
No, it's funny. It's oh wow, okay. Yeah, that's silly. Okay, so if this is true, so this is just the first thing Google said, so take that as you will. Do you know the Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts, yep.
For girls, yeah, the Girl Scouts, and for young girls, they're called brownies, like named after the food. And I guess that was a thing they did. Like if you with your other scouts, if you did good stuff, you earned brownie points. So it was sort of like a reward for doing good things. And I guess that it just transferred into people used them. So I don't think it has. This suggests it has nothing to do with poop.
Okay, good. So the next one is belittle. And again, this is a word I don't use. That's why I wrote it down. How often you use that word? And so,
wow, this is interesting. Some of you, I don't know if you found all the words in like the same show or where you came up with these, but
my wife made them, so that's the show.
Okay, yeah. So I'd say belittle is kind of related to scold and to taunt, two of the other words you brought up.
They all come from my wife, that's why I'm asking.
So like if you scold someone, you're like, you know, yelling at them, it's kind of like, don't do that. If you're taunting someone, it's kind of like, you're a loser, I'm a winner. And if you belittle someone, that's kind of like you're just saying things to make someone else feel bad about themselves. So you're just being mean. So like, you know, if I was saying, hey Ben, I think, you know, God determined that you'd always be fat, like he preordained you to be fat, I'm belittling you. Like there's nothing nice about that sentence. I'm just making you feel bad about yourself. So, you know, literally you could think about like to belittle someone makes them feel small, like they're not powerful and like that you're big. What's the way back you taught me like Tarzan de
maceta.
De maceta, that's it. Yeah. Where it's kind of like, it's similar. It's like you are making someone think that they're little, like the Tarzan of maceta.
Tarzan de maceta.
Sort of. So you're belittling. That's how I was thinking about it. Like when you belittle someone, you're trying to make yourself feel big and important, and them like small and insignificant.
Okay, got it. So the next one I have is dragoon. It's like dragon, dragon, but with double Oh, so
Yeah.
what does that mean? Do you often use it or not?
Okay. So you asked a good person because I'm a history nerd, and a dragoon with two O's um, is refers to. You don't really people don't really use it in today's day and age, but dragoons were soldiers that would ride on horses, but then get off and fight on their feet. So like in English, we say like a soldier or like an infantryman is someone who just like marches with their gun and fights. And a cavalryman is someone who like rides the horse and fights on the horse. But a dragoon was someone who would ride around on a horse, but then get off and fight. Um, so at least that's what I always learned in like the Revolutionary War, the American Guerra de Independencia. Like if you read stories or watch shows about that, you'll hear about British dragoons, como soldados de Inglaterra, but like a certain type. I don't know. I don't know if it has a translation in Spanish, but I can look. Here it says dragón, so maybe it is a word in Spanish as well.
Right.
But it's sort of like an old-fashioned soldier.
Okay, so the next I have an
Your wife
expression.
didn't use that word with you. Is that where you got that one too?
What's that?
Did your wife call you a dragoon?
No, you know, some words I just sometimes in the middle of the night I hear a word, sometimes I'm watching a video, sometimes during our class with Ruben and Dustin, I take note of something, and I just the words I write down, I write it down because two reasons. I try to think of the audience before I think of me, and thinking who else can benefit from me from this. And these words are words that I don't typically use very often, so I'm ignorant about them. So I want to learn too. And I always think about like making little videos, cut them and say, okay, dragoon. What does dragoon mean? So we show that little clip one day when I have time to cut those episodes. But yeah, so I don't know dragoon where I sometimes I remember, but I don't know. This one I don't remember. Not my wife,
Well,
but
I just want to say I'm not a I don't boast too much. I don't brag about myself, but I feel like most people wouldn't know what a dragoon was. Like if you asked Dustin or Ruben, they probably wouldn't know. But because I'm a history nerd,
right.
So you asked a good person.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate your teaching. So the next phrase I have is like be there or be square. So how
Okay.
does it what does it mean? How often do you use it?
Yeah. I don't, again, it's something that it's an expression everyone knows. I don't use it a lot, but it doesn't mean it's not common. I think if I remember when you and I met in Vermont, you taught me an expression in Spanish that's similar, where it's like no seas batón, hace clic en el botón, or something like that. Which I imagine is similar. Was there something like that? No seas botón.
Right. No seas botón, hace clic en el botón.
Hace clic en el botón. Yeah. I think it's similar to that. It's something that rhymes, be there or be square. It's basically like the way most people would use it is like, hey Ben, I'm having a party tonight. Be there or be square. Like you should really come, and if you don't, like you're lame or you're not. You know what I mean? Like you're not a buena onda. You're just being boring or whatever. So like it's basically like you should come do it, otherwise
Yeah.
Like what else would you be doing?
Sos un forro.
Sos un forro, así. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so the next one is one word that my daughter said, and that's a riddle for you to see if you can uh, tell me what she meant. But she said in a very clear, distinctive Spanish accent, she said, Popo.
Bubble.
Popo. What English word is she trying to say?
Bubble.
Bubble. That's a good guess. Another guess?
Bottle. I don't know. That's another thing. Botella or something like that. I don't know.
She was trying to say the color purple.
Purple. Okay. Yeah, it's a
Purple.
purple. Purple. Purple.
Purple. So the next word is reiterate. 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 That's a word that I always have trouble pronouncing. And I'm not saying if I'm pronouncing it correctly now, but it's reiterate. Reiterate. So you spell it Reiterate. How do you say that? Master, tell me, master.
Reiterate.
Reiterate. Reiterate. That's
So
a tough one.
you're very close. It's just you're missing the T. So it like it as in anything. So re-it
Reiterate.
eight.
Eight. Reiterate. Eight.
Perfect. Yeah, there it is. Those are four sounds. So re, like, you know, really, just the first part of that re. It as in something. As in like her without the H. And eight, like the number eight. Reiterate. Reiterate.
Eight.
It's,
Reiterate.
it's basically just sort of a fancy way of saying, trying to, like, I could say something. It's sort of like, o sea, o digamos. It's like, it's just sort of a way of saying, like, another way of saying something. So I could be like, a dragoon is a soldier that's something. Wait, let me reiterate. It's just, it's sort of like you're backing up to say something a different way. I'd say it's a complex word, but I'll use it from time to time. I'm sure it's hard, for non-native speakers, but it's a good word to know. Let me reiterate. Let me reiterate something. So yeah, it's a good one. But it's basically just decir algo en otra manera or something like that, like just to say something in a different way.
Okay. Ray it eight. Ray it eight.
Nice. Yeah, and then once you start to link it a little bit, reiterate.
Reiterate.
Perfect.
Okay. So the next word is rambunctious. So Rambunctious.
Wow, Ben, you found some great words for this lesson. So this is a great word to know when you have two young children like you do. Rambunctious just basically means like something that has a ton of energy, just like all over the place. This is saying in Spanish, bougie, bullicioso, bullicioso, bullicioso. Wow, I've never heard that word. But like, so for example, you were talking about fluff, like the food, like all sugar. So if you gave your daughters fluff, they might be rambunctious afterwards, where they just like have all that sugar energy, and they're just like, "Can we go outside? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can I have food? Can I?" And like rambunctious. There's just a lot of energy and like craziness. And does that make sense? It's a great word though. Such a fun word, rambunctious. And again, like it's a word that you could definitely use and for a lot of things, but I'd say most times you'll hear it about children. Like, I don't think you'll really hear like, oh, my boss is so rambunctious. It's like, that's not common, but my kids, or
It's
my friends' kids or whatever, like rambunctious, just all that energy. Need to run around on the playground.
could it also be applied to dogs?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Rambunctious. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, for anything that has a lot of energy, but it's usually again like something small, like a kid or a dog.
Okay. So the next one is hopscotch. So HOPSCOTCH.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I don't want to end too quick, but I do have to get going here pretty soon, so I might end on.
I have two more after this, and I'm done.
Okay. Hopscotch is a children's game. It's not as common now, I'd say, but it used to be played like on, they call it like a blacktop or like in the road, I guess, or even the sidewalk with chalk, and you draw boxes, and then you'd have to like hop or jump and like land your feet in the boxes, and try to balance. So it's like an old fashioned kids game. Some people still, maybe at like elementary school, some people might play hopscotch during recess. But it's sort of like a really simple old time game. But you could definitely, like with your daughters, if you get some chalk and just draw in your driveway, play some hopscotch. I'm sure they'd love it.
The one with the numbers, right?
Yeah, with the numbers. Yep, that's hopscotch.
Okay. So the next one is Carlos Javier McAllister.
I don't use that very often. Carlos Javier McAllister.
Carlos Javier McAllister. What does that means? And what does Google tells you? Carlos Javier McAllister. What do you see?
Futbolista argentino.
Futbolista de la selección argentina. Is
is this the guy you sent me a message about, the Scottish Argentine?
Yeah. Just to show you that there are other Colorados in Argentina,
Yeah, look at
he's
that.
Scottish.
McAllister.
McAllister, yeah.
And with the English pronunciation, be McAllister.
McAllister. Like Kevin, right? Kevin McAllister.
Yep. Perfect. That's so funny. After later tonight, I want to look up an interview with this guy. Hear him speaking Castellano.
Yes.
When he looks like that, he looks like he could be.
He started his career in my Argentine team, which is Argentinos Juniors, which is the same team that Maradona started at, and Riquelme and many others. But he started in our Argentinos Juniors. So
Carlos Javier McAllister.
Carlos Javier es tu tío. It's your uncle.
Es mi tío. Sí. Tío Carlos. Muy bueno onda.
Right. Okay, so I have the last word is whatsoever. So whatsoever means, according to, I think it was Ruben wrote this, whatsoever means para nada. So I don't use whatsoever almost never, but I would like to probably use it more often. So whatsoever means para nada, but how do you describe whatsoever in English?
Yeah, I guess para nada, or I'm trying to think. Like, it could also be sea lo que sea, depending on the context. So like whatsoever, like I could say, Ben hasn't helped me whatsoever. That's like, it's a lie. I don't know why that was the example, but it would be, like, yeah, para nada. He hasn't helped me at all.
It's to emphasize something.
Yeah. Whatsoever. That's funny. I just looked up a definition of whatsoever, and some of these sentences I've never heard before. So, yeah, I guess that's really the best thing. So it's basically like, it's a tough word to explain, but it's basically just like, not even a little bit, like just, so, you know, I've never heard of that whatsoever, like
Right.
never once. Yeah, so it's just sort of like a way of, it's almost, I guess, and maybe this will be confusing, but I'd say, you know, like sometimes in Spanish, you know, you say nunca, and sometimes you can say jamás, and I always think jamás is like just more emphasizing, like absolutely never. That's sort of like whatsoever is just like, is that, is sort of like jamás, and never is nunca, and in certain ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like a more strong way of saying like at all, like no tengo ninguna idea, like I have no idea whatsoever. No tengo ni
la más puta idea.
Ni la más puta idea. Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I would say to that.
Oh, good. So I think that's it. The other thing I wanted to mention is like I'm considering doing some tutoring,
Okay.
Spanish tutoring to people I need to dig in and see what I need to do, who I need to contact. But I was thinking about doing some, you know, teaching people, being a tutor myself. And so I need to see, because I want to do it more like for students, because that's where most of them, you know, you can make more money that way other than doing it online to, you know, whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if you reach out to like a local elementary school or like middle school, maybe they are looking for after school teachers, or I don't know. But I'm sure there's always people that are looking to learn Spanish. So
yeah.
I think, and I know you're a good teacher, so I'm sure it'll work out.
Thank you. Ruben's mom's, her name is Marcy, and she comes to Charlitas on Thursdays. Yeah. And she is a tutor, and I was talking with her, and then we, you know, they cut you off. So next time I talk to her, I'll talk to her a little more. But she's a tutor, and she makes good money. So
yeah, I think it's definitely you can make good money doing it. So
yes, so that's it, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. And
no, gracias a vos. Siempre un placer. And yeah, I'm sure we'll talk again soon, and maybe start doing some shorter videos just so you don't have to edit as much.
Oh, we can yeah, if you have an idea for a video, if you want to write a script, or if you don't want, you have to, but I'm saying if you get ideas, just let me know, and maybe we can do something different for the channel. We'll keep doing this, but it will be nice to add something different, because you know, something like the Kun Agüero did well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Pero me voy a cenar con mi tío Carlos Javier McAllister. Él llegó hace unos minutos, así que me tengo que ir, pero no. But anyway, un placer, nos vemos, un abrazo, thank you, chao.
Vale.
Every way to say it, and hasta la próxima.
La próxima, Will.
Chao.
Chao. See ya.